You will own nothing, and you'll like it. It's a phrase I've seen knocking around a lot recently. The justification reason to own a particular thing. Yeah. It's almost like a call to arms for those of us that use digital media. To take a step back and actually go back to owning those physical things. The things that we keep on our shelves, or used to keep on our shelves. I have my collection of physical media. I built my collection and I hold loads of movies. Films like Grosse Pointe Blank, which desperately needs a new edition. We've got Leon, the Professional. We've got Swingers. I've got Heat. Lots of stone cold classics, because if I don't own them, then they can be taken away. But is this kind of phrase and movement dangerous? Is it forcing us back into the path of overconsumption? And in turn triggering our fears of what may become of some of our favourite content? Are the videos that we see on YouTube and the messages that we see on social media around the need for physical things an attack against the growing digital monster and all of the subscription services, or just pushing us to spend more money than we perhaps want or need? Consume more and more because if you don't own it physically, then they can take it away. You might never see it again. It keeps our collections full and our shelves bursting at the seams. But the thing is, I'm starting to question this kind of mindset. Does it always really matter if I don't own the thing? Now, I own plenty of movies on physical media. For these movies, I've got no reliance on digital. It's all here, ready to be picked up on a whim, whenever I fancy watching any of it. But I've collected all of this stuff, and some of it, it's just not being used regularly, or some of it just hasn't been used at all. This one, War Incorporated, I bought when it first came out in 2007, 2008. I've not actually watched this one yet. This one was a pickup after a Tarantino mention, and it still sits here sealed. It's probably been in my collection for a good 4 or 5 years. There's movies that I've really enjoyed that I added to the collection and not watched them since. Things like High Fidelity. There's Pleasantville as well, this is still sealed up. There's Frequency that stars Dennis Quaid and John Caviezel. Still sealed, but it's a great movie. I felt like I needed to have it in my collection. I just didn't want to lose access. Arachnophobia, great movie. Still sealed, not watched it since I picked up the Blu-ray, possibly 5 or more years ago. These things, yes, I own them, but if there's some of them that I'm just not using, or I'm sometimes unlikely to go back to them, then does it really matter if I own them or not? Has the fear of me not being able to maintain access to these things pushed me to keep hold of them and just own more and more? And is this something kind of new? Through my years of collecting, I've always enjoyed owning my favourite movies, but it was only my favourite movies that I kept in the collection. Now, I seem to be collecting and keeping everything I can. I convinced myself that I needed to accumulate and maintain that access to absolutely everything. And that's despite my feelings on it. Now, I want all of the options all of the time. Is this the mindset that the streaming platforms have kind of created? The vast library of movies and TV shows all on tap. Being physical media collectors, have we tried to emulate this kind of choice at home and on our shelves? To have that full choice and availability of titles. Has this actually affected how we collect? And also the amount of titles that we feel we need to have to hand. While looking at my shelves like this, I can't help but get distracted on what great films there are within my collection. I've got My Cousin Vinny, that's a great one, right? Sneakers, it's still sealed, but I do feel the impulse to upgrade it to the new Kino release, the 4K. Monster Squad, Brotherhood of the Wolf, I think that's a terrific movie. California. Another one that needs a good upgrade or nicer release is Strange Days. Absolute great movie from Catherine Bigelow. I've got Drive hidden down here. There's The Departed, Eastern Promises, History of Violence, which is still sealed, but I'm tempted by that Criterion. Just because they could take it away, it doesn't really mean that we have to own it all. It's the fear of them being taken away that's kind of driven some of my purchasing. I don't need to own or keep it all, but the message that it could be gone forever if I don't own it really pushed that compulsion that I somehow need to keep all of these things. But I don't. We don't really need to keep quite as much as we do. We justify the reasons for keeping large collections in a variety of ways. But really, how much filler do I need on my shelves that has to be there just in case? Are we being manipulated somehow? Everything that we're seeing through the algorithm is telling us how important having that physical thing is. It's not giving us any challenging views. It's all seemingly one-sided in a way that stops you from considering that there may be other options out there, ones that possibly work better for you. Does owning the thing always matter? Remember back when we used to rent our movies? Why not now? Why is the message always to buy or to own? I had to get things like this because it was a limited edition, so I had to own it. I picked up things like this, the Guyver, because it was going out of print, so I may never see it again. And then I have to keep hold of things like this because it's out of print. I keep hold of a lot of these things just because of the fear that I may never get an option to be able to watch these things again. But things like Dogma, a new edition's coming out soon, so did I need to keep it in the collection for so long just because it's rare? I don't think I'll ever own nothing. I love having my favourite movies to hand, but I also now realise that I don't need to own absolutely everything. There's a balance to be found somewhere here. The opinions that we're all seeing across the various YouTube videos and the social media posts, they don't give us that balance. Usually they're pushed all for physical media. Support it or lose it being one of the key arguments I hear over and over again. Don't use digital, it all has to be physical. In reality, it doesn't all have to be physical. Sure, have your collection of your favourites, but if the movie doesn't mean enough to you, then why are we keeping it? Why are you keeping it? Rent those movies digitally, check them out on a streaming service. Make the decision if it's a movie you want for your shelves, or if you are okay with a one-time watch on streaming. I see you out there. Like me, there's a portion of movies on your shelf that should have been nothing more than a one-time watch. It's like this, or this, or this, or this, or this. Do me a favour, have a little think about what's on your shelves. How much of the collection has been watched just once, or sometimes not at all? And how much of your collection you're just not impulsed to go and revisit? Let me know in the comments. I don't see digital as the devil. It's not out to destroy physical media. It's just yet another way for these companies to sell a product to us, the consumer. Whatever way we decide to consume, the studios and distributors, they want to give us options. The more ways they can sell things to us, the more money they make. Simples. Balance out how you're enjoying movies. You can buy and trade, you can rent digitally or watch on a streaming service, or you could buy and keep the thing. The options, they're all there. It doesn't just have to be the one thing. I do have a digital collection, and you know what? It's been handy. Not only have I been able to pick up some 4K movies on there on the cheap. Yes, I know the quality is not quite as good as physical, but it's pretty good. But it's also the added convenience of being able to take your movies on the road. I can access my whole library on my iPad or on my phone while I'm away. It's just convenient and just another option that works well for me. Of course, I still want all my favourite movies on physical media because there is that danger that the digital can be taken away. But if you understand the risks and it's an option that works well for you, then why not consider digital from time to time? Why does it always have to be just physical? The consideration is now how I want to collect going forward, and also the reasons that I keep things on my shelves. Sure, I want my favourites all here and present, just like I used to collect, but I've got to realise that I don't need to keep all of the things through the fear of what may become of them, what may become of them. In my collection, they're not all movies that I revisit regularly. They're not even all films that I enjoyed. but the fear and the messages we receive about the importance of physical media. It's all been ringing in my ears and almost controlling how I've been collecting and how I've been accumulating these things. My collecting, it can't be driven through this fear. It's got to be for the love of film. Consume however you like or whichever way you like, but collect for the things that you love.